But yeah, if your headline sucks, your entire funnel fails, even with perfect ads, right? But your headline is the only shot you get before people bounce. A great headline is clear, curiosity driven, and selfish in the best way possible. Most agents' headlines are invisible. They don't offend, excite, or do anything. They're kind of pointless. So next up we have the plug and play. So don't guess, right? Start with these proven formats and actually make them yours. Test 2 headlines, let the market vote with their clicks. But in short, your headline is the first sale. If it fails, everything else is wasted. Okay, let me be blunt for a second. If your headline sucks, it doesn't matter how good your landing page is, how persuasive your video is, or how much you actually spend on your ads. It doesn't matter. Any of those things don't matter. The headline is the first and only chance you have to hook someone in to actually paying attention. And attention is currency. If you're a realtor trying to grow online, this single line of text is either going to pull in leads or repel them, either way. So in order to help you with this, I've made a dedicated Mario board to this very issue. In the next 15 minutes or so, I'll be able to walk you through the exact ingredients of a high converting headlines, the invisible mistakes people actually make that actually quietly kill your opt-ins, my favorite plug and play formulas that I use myself, and how to split test headlines fast to double your results without spending a penny more on actually advertising. But if you're curious to know who this British man is talking to you and why he thinks he knows so much about real estate ads, my name is Dylan Kirk. I'm the CEO and founder of Estato, and we basically pride ourselves on making YouTube ad systems for realtors, hyper-focusing on quality instead of quantity. Because we realized that 100 conversions and 0 leads is 0 leads because you haven't converted any of them. That's the real kicker there. A lot of companies focus on mass amounts of leads but not really focusing on converting, or cookie cutter actually, advertising systems or landing pages, stuff like that. We personalize it to every realtor. Every realtor has their own system they can use, and we're not charging for that. And it's a system that they keep and that they have control over. But yeah, if your headline sucks, your entire funnel fails, even with perfect ads, right? Your headline is by far going to be the most important thing to actually drive results. It's the 80-20. If you saw my last video, it is the 80-20, the 80% of what your landing page is actually going to do. And basically the thing you should be split testing over everything else. But your headline is the only shot you get before people bounce. Why your headlines actually matter so much. So let's start with data. 8 out of 10 people will read your headline, and only 20% of those people will actually keep reading the rest, right? The rest of the page doesn't matter if the headline fails. Most visitors bounce within 3 seconds, so if your headline doesn't stop the scroll, they're gone. And it's also not about being clever, it's about being clear. So most realtors write clever headlines that confuse instead of actually converting, right? A lot of people do that. It's a very common thing, but your job is to actually grab attention, not win a poetry contest. It doesn't have to be the most intelligent. It has to be clear and it has to be attention grabbing. Those are your 2 main indicators of a working headline, right? But this basically means that 80% of your traffic is judging whether to stay based on one sentence. It's deadly. Not based on your credentials, not based on your brand or your offer, just your headline. So most people try and sound professional in their copy and end up being bland. It doesn't work. So they also try and be clever with puns and wordplay, and it ends up just confusing people altogether. But you don't need to be witty, you need to be clear, and your headline should stop the scroll. It needs to speak to a specific pain or desire and promise a benefit that's actually worth acting on, not just anything else, right? So if you don't do any of these things, if it doesn't take into consideration all these facts here, your funnel is going to be invisible. But let's start with the anatomy of a great headline. So a great headline is clear, curiosity driven, and selfish in the best way possible. Good headline sells the result, not the process. And let's dissect what actually makes a great headline. So it leads with a clear benefit. So a bad one here is request a comparative market analysis. Disgusting, get rid of it. Instead, find out what your home is worth in today's market. So nobody wants a process, they want a result. So your headlines should be about them, not what you do. Speak to the person, don't just say what you do. A good headline also uses curiosity or relevance. So ask, what would make the right person need to click? So a horrible way to do it is get your free home estimate. Terrible, disgusting, get rid of it. Why is it here? Most homeowners are shocked by their new value. The emotion is there to hook the reader. They wonder, am I actually missing something by not clicking on this? Creating that FOMO. It addresses one target, not everyone, and it adds that urgency without the pressure. So get a full report in 60 seconds, no agent required, or instant home value, no sign up needed. So when people feel like they actually like the message and they feel like the message is actually for them, they're far more likely to opt in because it's personalized to them. You're not speaking to everyone, you're speaking to them. Another one is mentioning time, speed, or simplicity. So really bad example here. Welcome to my real estate services. Did you just start? Is this your first time this is day one being a realtor for you? Because that's horrible. or selling soon, know your home's value before you actually list. So it mentions some sort of event or actually need to do this before date happens, right? Do this before this happens, because time and friction kill conversions. So your headline should promise ease and should make it really, really simple. One that works really well sometimes is adding a twist or some sort of pattern break. So for example here, your neighbor sold for $920,000. What about you? Or Zillow's wrong. Here's what your home's really worth, right? Disruption makes people pause, right? It's one of those things where disruptive marketing works really, really well as long as you're not overdoing it. That's a separate topic. But when it challenges something familiar, or you're basically taking on basically imagine like David versus Goliath, that sort of style there, but you're disrupting it. So if you have that there, you're taking something that's common, you're telling it it's wrong, or there's a better method, and that catches attention. But on the other side of what makes a great headline, you also have what makes a headline bad or terrible, or get rid of it, right? Like most agents' headlines are invisible. They don't offend, excite, or do anything. They're kind of pointless. If it sounds like everyone else, it dies like everyone else, right? So let's talk about not what to do. These are the most common traps, right? So number one is being generic or vague, right? So learn more, free consultation, trust a realtor in Dallas, Texas, wherever, right? Disgusting, get rid of that. Horrible. They're invisible, no benefit to it, and there's no hook. If the headline leads with you instead of them, that is a red flag. So we help clients buy and sell homes. Terrible. Welcome to, Dylan Realty Group. Awful, terrible, get rid of it. It's nothing about the person, it's all about you selfish person, right? Think about the person, think about the prospect that's actually clicking on. Your name doesn't build curiosity. Even if you're the top producing agent, people don't care. People don't care about that. And your client's desired outcome does. Another one I haven't actually added here, but is also a big indicator, is like using jargon. So like CMA, market snapshot, exclusive home evaluation. A lot of people don't understand what these things are and don't understand the lingo. It talks to them like people, not professionals. It's not to say make it simple for them, but you got to remember who you're talking to. A lot of people aren't going to have a clue what you're talking about, so you need to speak in clear English, or at least speak clearly in a way where it doesn't sound like you're trying to be clever, but you're actually trying to educate them and tell them what the process is. Having no benefit or hook is a really, really big one, as well as trying to be clever. Learn more about buying a home, awful. Request a free consultation, awful. And for trying to be clever, unlocking your home's potential, it sounds good, but ultimately doesn't do anything for you. Clarity over creativity any day of the week. A big one that a lot of people do and a lot of people forget that this is actually a huge red flag is over-promising or at least sounding scammy. Massive one. A lot of people do this on landing pages and wonder why the quality sucks or the leads aren't actually converting. You're over-promising, bro. It does not work. So get 50k back at closing is horrible. As I see here, get 50k back at closing, terrible. Or sell your home in 1 day guaranteed. All that's going to do is harm you rather than help you. There's no trust involved because from the get-go, it looks scammy. Just remember, clickbait equals bounce rate. Make it fair, but also make it reasonable. Find the Goldilocks medium of selling it well, but not overselling it. So next up, we have the plug and play. So don't guess, right? Start with these proven formats and actually make them yours. So number one is the speed and value formula. So get your home's value in 60 seconds. No sign up required. It works because it's fast, it's frictionless, and it's relevant. Right, these all work really, really well. Curiosity in comparison formula. So your neighbor sold for $950,000. What could you get? Right, it's a massive one. It taps into that competitive instinct and works great for sellers. A big sellers market, this could be really, really good. I think especially in areas like, bit of knowledge here, areas like St. Louis and stuff like that. Personally, a lot of these formulas didn't work, but the curiosity comparison one did work. It was kind of like our Hail Mary a little bit because a lot of people took pride in doing things themselves. So having that where, your neighbor sold for this amount, what could you get? So that was a really, really good way of getting people to entice and click on. Fear of loss formula is another great one. So thinking of selling, don't list until you know this one thing. So the fear of making a mistake is powerful, right? It creates that urgency without being pushy. Just let them know, hey, if you're doing that, just let you know this common thing happens. Don't be like this person. But feel free to take these, teach ChatGPT it, or even just come up with your own ideas yourself. Just set these rules for yourself and just think, okay, so I'm looking for the speed and value formula. What can I do here? Or even just copy and paste. because that also works really, really well. Now, the final section I have for you is basically how to split test. Now, I'm not going to go to it too much because I do have an entire dedicated video before this one, basically explaining how to split test and how to do it properly, depending if you're using like ClickFunnels, Unbounce, that sort of stuff there. Go high level being a big one as well. Or if you're trying to redirect traffic to your YouTube channel or like your own personal, like your brokerage's website or anything like that. I have an entire video for that. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but test 2 headlines, let the market vote with their clicks. In short, that's how you do it, because testing headlines is the fastest way to increase leads. No ad budget increase required, right? So you're saving money, but just increasing the conversions, just making it more efficient. But here's actually how you test headlines the smart way. So number 1, test 2 headlines, keep everything else the same. So use A/B split testing and go high level. I am affiliated, just to let you know there, just to make it legal. Unbounce and stuff like that, etc. And isolate the headline as the only variable. Headline is going to be your 80/20, so focus on that first before you do anything else. Change only the headline, nothing else. Number 2, let it run for at least 100 plus clicks. Anything under 100 visits isn't enough to trust. I know a lot of people like to try and rush into finding results straight away, but if you haven't seen results, and this can happen sometimes, where you set it to, oh, let's get 50 clicks each, you still haven't got anything. Okay, 100 clicks each. 100 clicks will actually give you a percentage rather than 50 plus, right? 100 is a really, really solid way of at least finding out what's working and what's not. It takes an extremely long time though if your ad budget is tiny. So if you've got like a $5, $10 a day ad budget, this is going to take a long, long time, especially if your click-through rate isn't that good. If your click-through rate is good, but your ad spend is low, then it might take slightly less time, but 100 clicks, I would say, is enough to actually find out what's working and what's not. Picking a winner based on conversion rate, not feeling. So look at the data. Ignore your feelings, get rid of feelings. Emotions kill businesses. So pick winner based on conversion rate, not feeling. Whichever version leads to more form submissions wins. Everything else is irrelevant, right? Measure conversion rate, not bounce rate, not time on page, not anything like that. Just which one got more leads. Obviously, that's your North Star, right? That's your KPI. What got more leads? Focus on that. Final step is to stack the winner. So start a new round. Always be testing. Once you find a winner, combine it with other winners. So like CTA, images, form layout, that sort of stuff there. But headline will always be your first bet, then sub-headline, etc. Right? So work down the list, find out what works and what doesn't. Eventually, you'll have a golden page or a winning page, and you go from there. And that's basically how you go from like a 2% to like a 6% opt-in rate or higher, right? Without spending more money. Side note, 3% is basically your baseline for YouTube ads, especially YouTube ads to landing pages. So if you're below 3%, review changes need to be made. Or if it's above 3%, you're on the right track. But in short, your headline is the first sale. If it fails, everything else is wasted. A headline is the first sale they ever make. You're not selling your program or anything like that, or even just your offer. You're selling attention. That's the number one thing to worry about. But if you get that wrong, everything else breaks down and it makes everything completely pointless. And that's where in this video here, just to save yourself some time, focus on your YouTube ads first before you're focusing on landing pages. Because your offer is going to do most of the heavy lifting. Second thing is your headline. So if you're going to do in this a priority, what to focus on first, it's going to be first your YouTube offer, your YouTube ads. You're focusing on that first. Your offer, the big one. Next up is headline. Everything else is second to none about that. But I do have a second video explaining how to split test and how to do it well. So make sure to look out there if you're unsure about how to do that. But yeah, if you get this right, everything suddenly gets easier and your offer gets seen. Like your leads go up, your ad spend goes down, everything is working. But use the formulas I gave you today, plug and test them. And if you want 5 done for you headline templates, you can swipe and deploy today. Check the link in the description. I'll make a plug and play for you and get that all set up. But yeah, test faster, convert more, let your copy do the heavy lifting. And I'll see you in the next video. But yeah, that's everything. See ya.